Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving into something that honestly doesn't make a lot of sense. It's this billion-dollar paradox at the very heart of football. How is it that the sport is making more money than ever, but at the same time, so many of its biggest clubs are just hemorrhaging cash?
Okay, so let's just start with the raw numbers. In 2023, Europe's top football clubs pulled in a jaw-dropping 26.8 billion euros in revenue. That's not just a big number, it's a record. The biggest single-year jump ever. I mean, cash is just flooding into the game like never before.
But, and this is the crazy part, in that exact same record-breaking year, 55% of those clubs, yep, more than half of them, actually lost money. They were in the red. And right there, that's the paradox we're talking about. So how on earth can the world's biggest sport be so incredibly rich and, well, so broke at the same time? That's the big question, right? And today, we're going to follow the money and see if we can figure this thing out. All right, here's the plan. We'll look at this financial paradox, then the massive revenue engine that powers it all. We'll get into the insane cost of winning, the different ways people are investing in the game, what all this means for the fans, and finally, where football is headed. Let's get into it. So let's start with this paradox. The thing is, football has never, ever had a problem making money. The problem, and it's a big one, is that it has a huge problem with spending it. Okay, let's look at how the money flows in, because before we can even talk about the spending, you've got to understand the sheer scale of the cash coming through the door. I mean, these clubs aren't just teams anymore. They're massive global businesses. So the money comes from four main places. You've got the obvious ones, right? TV and media rights, and of course what they make on match day from tickets and whatnot. But the real story here, the game changer, is commercial income. We're talking sponsorships, merch, brand deals. That's now the biggest piece of the pie, and it's growing way faster than everything else. And you know, that whole sponsorship model has totally changed. It's not just about slapping a logo on a shirt anymore. It's what this quote calls value co-creation. It's way deeper now. It's about partnerships where the club and the sponsor are working together, sharing resources to build something new for the fans. Another huge piece of the puzzle, infrastructure. Just look at Real Madrid. They became the first club ever to smash through the €1 billion revenue mark in a single season. And a huge part of that was their completely renovated stadium. It just goes to show you, if you want to play in that top tier of revenue, you have to invest big in things like stadiums. All right, so the money's pouring in. But here's where it all starts to go sideways. We're talking about the uncontrollable cost of glory. Because for every single euro that comes in, it feels like another one just flies straight back out the door, all in the name of winning. The thing is, the competition is just absolutely brutal. Nobody wants to get left behind. So what happens? You get this crazy arms race of overspending on player wages, ridiculous transfer fees, new facilities. It creates this vicious cycle of bigger and bigger budgets, and you guessed it, more and more financial risk. And if you want one stat that tells the whole story, here it is. In 2023, a staggering 67% of all revenue went straight to paying player and staff wages. Just look at that. 2/3 of every single dollar or euro coming in is gone, just like that, before you pay for travel, stadium upkeep, anything else. This is what's pushing so many clubs right to the brink. So with all this financial pressure, we're starting to see two totally different ideas about how to invest in football, and they're kind of battling it out for the soul of the sport. And this table just lays it out perfectly. You've got two models here. Take Europe, with a giant like Real Madrid. Huge revenues, huge valuation, but there's always the risk of relegation, that trapdoor. So their valuation is about 5.8 times what they make in a year. Now flip over to the US and the MLS. LA Galaxy makes a fraction of what Real Madrid does, but its valuation multiple is almost double. Why? Simple. It's a closed league, no relegation. That makes it a safe, stable asset, and that's exactly what a certain type of investor is looking for. But then you have Germany, which does things completely differently. They have this famous 50+1 rule, and it's pretty simple, really. It just means that the club's members, the fans, have to own the majority of voting rights. It basically guarantees that fans stay in control, and it puts the community and the club's culture ahead of just making a quick buck. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you've got this trend of multi-club ownership, or MCO. This is where a single group, like Manchester City's owners, buys up stakes in a bunch of clubs all over the world. The idea is to create this global network, share resources, and build a brand that's way bigger than just one team in one city. So, with all this money, all this commercialization, it leads us to maybe the most important question of all. What does this mean for the fans? The people who are the actual lifeblood of the sport. And this quote, I think, really gets to the heart of a fear a lot of fans have. This idea that as football turns into just another product to be sold, they feel like they're being turned from supporters into, well, just customers. That their loyalty is just seen as another line on a balance sheet. And if you want the ultimate example of this, just look at the story of Wimbledon. It's incredible. Their club was literally ripped away from them and moved 70 miles down the road. But the fans, they refused to let their club die. They started a new one, AFC Wimbledon, from scratch, way down in the 9th tier of English football. And in what is just an unbelievable fairy tale journey, they climbed all the way back up the leagues and in 2020 moved into a new stadium right back where they started. It's an amazing story of fan power. But here's another twist. While some of those local hardcore fans might feel pushed aside, the clubs are getting really smart about connecting with and, let's be honest, making money from a huge global audience. And that's where things like fan tokens come in. Basically, they're these digital assets you can buy that give you access to exclusive stuff or let you vote on small club decisions, like maybe the message on the team bus. It's a way for a club to cash in on the passion of a fan in, say, another continent, who's probably never going to make it to a live match. So, where does this all leave us? What's the future of the game? Well, it's clear that football is being pulled in a bunch of different directions at once, and these tensions are really going to define what the sport looks like in the years to come. It's really these core contradictions, right? You've got record revenue versus constant debt. You have this push to be a global brand versus the need to be a local community club. There's the drama of open competition with promotion and relegation versus the safety of a closed investment model. And, of course, the classic battle between the traditional supporter in the stands and the new digital fan on their phone. And that really leaves us with the million-dollar, or I guess billion-dollar question, can football actually serve two masters? Can it find a way to balance its cultural soul with its commercial future, or is it inevitable that one of those is going to win out in the end?